For this session, I wrote 54 words. For this session, I wrote 89 words. For this session, I wrote 88 words. For this session, I wrote 81 words. I have been experimenting with some new formats for my primary manuscript. Partly for some variety, partly for the aesthetic of writing, and also in part because I want to see if my creative access is greater, perhaps, in this mode. What this mode is handwriting in a journal, and I've been practicing writing out my segments, at least a draft of it in this notebook that I then dictate into my manuscript, and then I revise after I dictate. I have been experimenting writing with my right hand and also with my left to see if I have greater flow or ease with one hand over the other, and surprisingly, I do. To give a bit of context, I am naturally right-handed, meaning I was conditioned at a young age to write with my right hand. However, over the past few years, I have taught myself to write fluidly with my left hand. In my right hand, I now primarily write in cursive to slow my writing down because it has been so ingrained in rapid note-taking that I simply cannot slow it down otherwise. And I have learned that for my best writing in handwriting, I do need to take a slower pace for that to occur. So I write in cursive with my right for that reason. In my left hand, I write in print because cursive is really difficult for left to right style writing in left hand. I can do it though, but it is quite clunky. That aside, I do have a really good rhythm of writing with my left hand, given that my left hand hasn't been exposed to rapid note-taking or the stresses of being in an academic setting. And so I wanted to compare my creative writing capabilities with my left hand versus my right hand handwriting. I have found that creative writing is quite difficult for me via right hand, and I am better served using my left hand when handwriting for creative projects. My right hand is best for reflections, for brainstorming, for debriefing on my creative projects, which I find very interesting. Even with my best writing through my left hand, I do find that I still have to revise the segment once it has been uploaded into my document. When I am solely typing my segment, I automatically revise as I go along, and it's quicker to make those corrections because of the speed in which I can type versus the speed in which I handwrite. So there is a loss of efficiency in handwriting first and then uploading onto my document, but I do enjoy the feel of it, the overall experience of it, and I'm wanting to continue to try this method out further. To give some comparison, I absolutely hated the way I felt trying to handwrite a segment of my manuscript via right hand because my thoughts were moving too fast and my hand was just all over the page, and I felt that I didn't have any real connection with what was happening. But with my left hand, I actually enjoyed the pace. I enjoyed the ability to sit back and really understand what I was trying to convey. And I felt it was a lot easier to get my thoughts out more clearly with my left hand than scrawling back and forth with my right. In a word, my right hand felt chaotic and my left hand felt rather poetic. Some other nuances of this experimentation. I started out by printing out the last segment of my manuscript and using that as a reference to handwrite the current segment. That paper would of course be the revised version that I have cleaned up after my dictation. And now I'm comparing it with going without printing the last segment and solely off of what I last hand wrote. It's still new for me, so I don't have any insights on it at this point, but once I do, I will definitely be sharing it. Ultimately, my aim in this experimentation is to be as low maintenance with my writing as possible and to be able to fluidly write in whatever medium that I have on hand. I do find handwriting to be more poetic than simply typing. However, I also am very serious about reducing the strain of writing as much as possible, but too much efficiency can hinder creativity, and I'm also aware of that. So I'm always looking to find that sweet spot, that healthy balance between the two mediums. I also do think that training creative writing by handwriting is also a valuable practice. I think it provides a different access of curation of one's thoughts, and so worthwhile to explore. Moving on to my next writing update regarding my other creative projects that I am doing alongside my primary manuscript. I film the progress of my primary manuscript every single day because I write in it every single day. But with my other creative projects, I haven't filmed about them because I myself have been trying to figure out if there is any discernible pattern to the madness that it seems to be. There are some patterns that I have uncovered. One is that I tend to have at least one spontaneous creative burst per month. And in this burst, which I have been calling throughout my vlogs as writer's storm, I will write 10 to 15,000 words, of which 2,000 to 3,000 words are viable. And by viable, I mean polished, written to the best of my abilities, to the point where I'm satisfied with them as near final products. And at that point that I complete them, they are at least at a third draft level, if not maybe final. But I have also noticed that I cannot do more than one per month of those kinds of sessions because it takes me all month to collect my ideas, to flesh them out and think through each consideration, to do my research, to continue my reading, to cultivate my ideas and deepen them. And it is only when I have that mix at a certain threshold that I am able to sit and actually write what I want to write. I didn't know this at the beginning. It's only in this process of writing every single day and having the space to think about my writing and its process that I've come to these discoveries. So at first, I didn't know how to stitch the months together in any cohesive sense for my other creative projects. And I am glad that I allowed myself complete free rein to write whatever I felt at the time, because all of that has shown me that there will be quite a handful of sketches that we as writers will collect in our sketchbooks, but that may never actually make it to the canvas, so to speak. However, eventually you will come across an idea that you will want to further develop and see through in the long haul. At least that's what I've come to realize so far. So in this parallel journey of writing spontaneously for my other creative projects, I have finally landed on one that I want to develop into a full-on novel in my immediate life and not down the road per se. And having now an idea of the creative expense that these projects cost, I know how to budget my energy better and set up a realistic pacing schedule for this pet project. That's what I'm calling the secondary manuscript that I'm working on. I think the world of writing has become quite skewed with traditional publishing and its deadlines and its pressures. I think traditional publishing has played probably the largest influence in writers and how they write. And not that every single writer aspires to be traditionally published, but that has been always an overarching influence in the sphere of writing. It's definitely possible to write to a deadline. It's definitely possible to challenge yourself and write as much as you can. And what writer doesn't want to see their vision come to life as soon as possible? But something I've learned quite the hard way is that writing is really, really a long game, and the greatest asset for it is patience. More than skill, more than utmost creativity, it is to have patience for the process and for your own growth throughout. That is it for this vlog, and I will see you in the next one.